I'm going to do.
Oh, oh, there you go.
Okay, so it's going to be on my device, and then I can get Michelle's help to get it off. Have to
There you go.
use a Dropbox probably is how we'll have to do it, but it'll work.
Good, because I turned around and I thought, well, I better tell you, you can tell Michelle, she can contact me and help me go through my computer. But actually, it might be easier from your end. Um,
It's all learning, ladies. All
yeah,
good learning.
yeah. Ottawa's, it's raining, snow, wet
Yes.
snow, a bit of rain right now. And we're supposed to
Yep.
get the deep freeze. So,
Now, where are
mm,
you at, Carol?
Ottawa,
Oh, are you really? Yeah.
yes.
You're way up there.
It's supposed to freeze here too tonight, drop quite
Yeah.
considerably. So we've just begun finally after 2 years a series of ice fishing that we can have. So we're excited about that part of it because
The
it means
Rideau,
that
yeah,
some of
the Rideau
our industries.
Canal
Yes.
is open. It's been that
Mm.
cold this year that they've been able to open the Rideau Canal.
Yeah.
Last year
Yeah.
it opened for 6 hours or something.
Hey, I guess I'm gonna
Oh,
And
really?
yeah,
Oh, and then it wasn't safe. Oh,
no. And the year before, I think it had 1 or 2 days and that was it. One year it didn't open at all. So
yeah. That's been the
it's
reality
open
with
now.
our ice fishing industry down here on the north shore of Lake Erie. It
Yeah.
is patchy, hit and miss. Some years yes, some years no. And it's a form of an income for a number of individuals that is missing through that period of the year if it doesn't happen, because there's a number of outfitters that
Lodges.
yeah, that support that. Yeah.
Uh,
There's Sue. Hi, Sue.
Hello,
Get your
Wanda.
unmute. Hello.
How are you doing?
We're well. How are you?
Good. I just sent you an email saying there was going to be 4 or 5 of
Right?
us. Yep.
Yes. Yep. All with you down there at Faith Centennial?
Yep. We're at the church. Yep.
Oh, cool. Okay. Can you turn your camera so we can see everybody or
I can, but there's only one. Only one. There's only one extra here so far.
okay. All right. Are you
We're
going to
getting,
turn the heat up for everybody, Sue, or are you going to
yeah, we
have to
got
keep
the
it?
heat on.
Oh, good.
We're
Okay.
actually getting snow right now. So,
We are too. Yes.
oh, and there's our so we have Madam President behind me here and then Lauren is our secretary.
Excellent. Welcome. We're all excited.
So wait a
Not
minute.
many so far, but we will be trickling in the next few minutes, no doubt.
Yes. Okay, there. It's bigger now. All right. So eventually we'll be getting rid of our audio though, right?
We'll ask everyone to mute, please. Yes.
Okay. Yep. And I'm going to turn this up a little bit here. Oh, no, I'm on 100. So this looks like it's going to be as high as it goes. Okay. How are you doing, Chris? Good. Have you
Hi,
got
Amy.
okay. Came equipped.
you're muted, Amy.
That's a nice small computer. It was a,
This
there.
one?
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Zoom meeting.
We doing?
You had a wild week?
I had the bear
Good.
dog. Oh, no, what are you doing?
Hi, Amy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Carol?
I'm good.
What's the weather like up your way?
Right now, it's a mix of rain and snow, and by tonight, the temperature's supposed to drop to like minus 14, 15, and the cold front's coming in.
Yeah, it's snowing here and we're getting a cold front as well. It's
Yeah,
not nice, but what can we do?
right. It's almost summer is right around the corner, so I'm told.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll go with that.
My husband the other night turned around and said, "Look out the window. It's 5 o'clock at night, and I can see across the street." And
I
go,
know.
"Shh, shh, shh, don't say anything."
It's nice. Yes. Yes. I'm happy that it's starting to get a little lighter.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody, if you're just joining. Hi, Laring.
Hi, Wanda. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am cheerful.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Hi, Amy.
Welcome to everybody at Grace United. Nice to see you too. And Gail at Streetsville.
Yeah.
There's Kathy, our intrepid Horseshoe Falls region support.
Gail, you're from Streetsville?
You're
Yes, I am.
I lived in Mississauga for about 4 years, and I worked at Control Data in Streetsville.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah.
So like that's back in the 70s. Is it still there?
Uh, where was it? Do you know exactly?
Well, I used to take Erin Mills Parkway down when it
Right.
had no houses on
Yeah.
either side of it.
No.
Oh,
It is, yeah, the boundaries sure have extended.
Yeah.
In fact, right from Erin Mills Parkway over to Winston Churchill, I mean, it's nothing but residential homes and stuff now. Yep. Yeah, quite a place.
because I used to live in an apartment on Homelands.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you came north, basically.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now that was a long time ago.
yeah. Gail, I'm from Eden United Church and I live in Meadowvale, so I'm not too far from you. And your minister's coming to our church tomorrow.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's quite looking forward to it.
Oh, good. Good. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to him coming as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, and last year the trade around, we had it's Neil, right? Hennig Pereira.
Yes.
Yes.
From our church, yes.
Right. Yeah. He
Norm.
came to us at Norm,
Yeah,
sorry. And wow, what a storyteller.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to Arundel tomorrow.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The Mississauga churches are doing a pulpit exchange, so
Right.
I'm just
yeah, so it's kind of
Going today?
Is that ever an interesting idea?
yeah, it's kind of good. Once a year they do it, so we get an opportunity to hear a minister from another church, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and our minister gets to go to another church and
Right.
pick up some good ideas from them.
Yeah. Yeah. We have Joanne Hedge
Oh.
from she's coming.
Oh.
She's the trade to us.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually going to work very well because she has been Reverend Joe's like that's who he will often list as his contact if he's away.
Right.
So it'll be kind of nice for some of us who have never met her before to meet her. And yeah, I think I totally agree with you that the trading around like in a circuit, it opens your eyes to what's out there, right?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So very good. Yeah.
Okay. Bunch of people coming in, everybody.
Hi,
See
Wynn.
Nancy,
Hi,
see
Phyllis.
Joyce.
I know Nancy Risto, you're in there somewhere too. Hi.
Yeah. She left her.
Just
There
trying to
she
get
is.
my light to work. Oh, that's good.
Oh, I better let Carmen in.
Oh, do
Yeah.
let the moderator in.
That would be
Please.
a good idea.
Do
I
let
think so.
moderator Lansdowne in.
Better let Carmen in.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carmen. I wasn't. I'm crocheting.
I didn't expect.
Oh, nice.
I didn't see your.
Okay. We're right almost at 2 o'clock. We'll give a few more minutes for everyone to come in.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm wondering if that's Arundel United Church. Trying to, because they were going to have a watching party. So I guess they're trying to get set up.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Because I've been trying to talk to them for quite a while and they're not answering.
Don't have volume.
I know they've unmuted again.
Lansdowne was complaining that this didn't have any batteries.
Arundel, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can, but we're having troubles at this end getting set up.
Do you want to leave yourselves muted until you get the projection?
sorry?
Do you want to leave yourselves muted until then, though?
Yeah, we can do that, but you asked me to unmute.
We're here.
Oh,
no,
hey,
we asked you to mute.
We're getting there.
She's up behind you.
Okay, now you got to get volume.
Wait.
Yeah, have everybody come in here.
There, you're in a little bit more, Lisa. You're not in. That's fine.
Hi, Ruth. It's good to see you.
Hi, thank you. You too.
These gluten-free, gluten, egg, and dairy. Okay, you're all three.
You didn't bother to go up to the church for the viewing party.
Well, no, I'm no longer driving, and I'm relying on transportation, and so this seemed to be a good way of doing it. Now, my son was over this morning, so he was able to get me set up.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm
that's
going to interrupt. Wanda, you're muted. Are you able to unmute?
Not so that we
It's
don't.
Kathy Douglas talking.
There we are.
Thanks. I knew you were struggling there. I'm just wondering, are you the host?
I am co-host.
Okay, so you'll be able to mute people if you need to. I think some
Yes.
people aren't. You just go up to the corner and just mute
Yeah,
them. And if you need anything, let me know. I'll probably have my camera off, but
I can
not,
mute.
so
I
can't do-
can mute all, can't I?
You can. You have a lot of power. Well, I think you can as
the
co-host.
power, Wanda.
Okay.
Nice to be here, everybody. Good to see you.
Nice to have you, Kathy. All right, we're right at 2 p.m., folks, but we're just going to be patient for a couple more minutes. We are mindful of moderator Lansdowne's time, so we will not wait much longer, but let's just make sure that we've given everybody ample time to get themselves situated. Look at us all techie. If we can thank the pandemic for one thing, it's this.
Yes.
Marjorie doesn't like groups either. I see everybody moving, so maybe we should move. I can leave the video like that.
Would you like us to mute?
Please.
Okay.
And just so everybody's aware, we are recording this, so be on your best behavior because it's going down for all posterity now. Ultimately, the goal is to share this through our Horseshoe Falls Region site. All right, Arundel, how are you doing there? How's everything going in Arundel? Communication reps, can you see all the people that you know are coming from your units?
I can see some people from my area,
Okay.
and it's wonderful. We've got more than usual, so that's good.
That is excellent. We're at 30 so far, 30 screens. That could mean more people with watch parties too. So take that into consideration. Watch parties, please take a minute now and gather everybody together in a picture. We want that for our next regional UCW newsletter. I'm going to give about another minute and then we're going to start, ladies and gentlemen. To be mindful, as I said, of both our time and the moderators. Our moderator is busy. We're very thankful that she has carved out time to spend time with us. Still admitting. Sue, are you going to get a picture of everybody down there at Faith Centennial? Okay, thank you. There we all are. Okay, we're at 2:05, so we're going to begin now, everybody. So gather yourself together, get that last cup of tea, get settled. And if everybody could please make sure you're muted, that would be very much appreciated. I'm welcoming you here officially on behalf of Horseshoe Falls Region United Church Women. Thanks everyone for, first of all, agreeing to rebook this time. And of course, thanks to our guest moderator, Carmen Lansdowne. We're very eager to share time and to take away your words of wisdom, moderator Lansdowne, to take inspiration from today, to continue the work that we do. Our theme this year at Horseshoe Falls Region is called to be the church. It has always resonated with me as something that is a very simple phrase that really focuses us in what we do in the work of the United Church Women. We look around, we see what work needs to be done, and we take it on in very simple ways, but these ways have an incredible, profound effect. So thinking of that today, please, the ways in which you are called to be the church. And as you take this downtime in January now, the weather's awful outside, but consider the ways that we continue to work and the ways we continue to make the difference in our communities and in our wider worlds as well. I'm going to ask Phyllis Buchner, please, speaking of wise words and worker, to lead us in a short opening prayer and a bit of worship to also help to focus our days.
Good afternoon. We begin this day with these familiar and encouraging words from Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Let us pause in prayer. Loving and gentle God, as we gather this day, open our hearts and our understanding. We are gates, we are doors, and we have the keys for continued growth, lessons, and love. Bless us, gracious one. Amen. As Horseshoe Falls UCW looks to the future, we recognize we are called, just as those who have gone before us were called. Called to our 4 pillars of witness, study, fellowship, and service. And remember that our history started before 1962. We go way back to the Ladies' Aid, WA, Women's Association, and WMS, the Women's Missionary Society. We are blessed by the strong women who have gone before us and those among us now. The Miriams, who led others joyfully. The Ruths, those willing to take on new adventures. The Annas, who look deeply into thoughts and actions. And the Dorcas, who look at basic needs. Agatha Casa and Dorothy Amos, whose legacies continue to support United Church women. And Reverend Ophelia Ortega, who shares the challenges of her women in Cuba. Earlier in this century, the late Lois Wilson spoke of United Church women's tenacious faith, persistence, and sisterly solidarity. Yes, we are indeed bold and daring and justice-seeking. UCW has blessed others with faithful work and active mission. We are firm, determined supporters of mission and service. We have even been called to international exchanges, called to South Korea, dared to go to South Korea, and brought back the message to be shared, and then the amazing fundraiser, the pins. How that small outreach reached out across the world. Called to Cuba on a trip of solidarity to meet the Weavers of Hope and visit social projects. Called to Kenya and called to Tanzania, the Morogoro Training Center. You will know our members volunteer in many places. Thrift stores, brownies, guides, summer camps, hospital boards, hospice visiting, nursing home visiting, Meals on Wheels, food banks, and so much more. We have embraced social issues, the Poverty Dolls Initiative, questioning why. How is it that in an affluent country like Canada, how can children be living in poverty? And remember the beads of hope. We learned about AIDS, grandmothers raising grandchildren and being chastised because their children had died of this dreaded disease. Sisters in Spirit touched our hearts. We learned of mothers in Argentina who showed support and solidarity for family and friends of the disappeared. And the list goes on. Thursdays in Black, World Day of Prayer, the Healing Fund, Peace Ribbons. Do you remember the miles of ribbons? And does all of this sound like cheerleading? Well, we are. We cheer each other on. I offer this to you from Wisdom 7, 22, 23, and 25. And this is from the Revised Standard Version. And this was quoted to us by past moderator Marion Best. For in her, there is a spirit that is intelligent, holy, unique, manifold, subtle, clear, unpolluted, distinct, loving the good, keen, irresistible, humane, steadfast, sure, free from anxiety. For she is the breath of the power of God. Called to be the church, it has been said of the United Church women, we learn by serving and we serve by learning. May it continue to be so. Amen and amen.
Wanda, your microphone's still off.
There we go. Thank you, Phyllis. There are your phrases to take with you for the winds beneath your wings for the rest of the while. The breath of the power of God. Learn by serving and serve by learning. Is that what you were saying, Phyllis? That the quote? Yes. Okay. Phyllis, if you can share that, please, with us, and we're going to put that in our next newsletter as well as have our communication reps send that out. It's helpful to have these little phrases, these little readings to keep, tacked up to your mirror, tacked up around your workspace, just to remind yourself when, you're knee deep in egg salad for the next funeral luncheon, or you're trying to pull together that next fundraiser, and why am I doing this again? And sometimes we need these little reminders just to help us remember. So thank you very much, Phyllis. Wonderful. All right, ladies, now, and any gentlemen that might be joining us too, and anybody out there at watch parties, we're moving forward to the big draw for today, the big name, Moderator Lansdowne. And I'm going to say a few words of introduction first. I mean, I know you don't need to know that this is Moderator Lansdowne, but let's just, because this is a beautifully written bio. So let's just take this in. The Right Reverend Dr. Carmen Lansdowne is the 44th moderator of the United Church of Canada. She is the elected natural spiritual leader and public representative of the United Church until 2025. As moderator, Carmen chairs the governance bodies of the United Church of Canada. She also sits on the board of the Vancouver Foundation, one of Canada's largest community foundations. She's previously held a number of important governance roles within the United Church of Canada, including supporting Indigenous candidates for ministry. Prior to serving the National Church, Moderator Carmen was the Executive Director of First United Community Ministry Society in Vancouver. She joined First United in February of 2017, led an organizational turnaround resulting in increased stability and capacity, and facilitated the redevelopment of their main site. Following her term as moderator, she will take up a teaching position as Assistant Professor of United Church of Canada Studies at Emmanuel College at the University of Toronto. She starts teaching a year from now in January of 26. The moderator leads with compassion, thoughtfulness, and creativity, while maintaining academic interests, church ministry, Indigenous ways of being, parenting, and partnering. She holds a PhD from the Graduate Theological Union in Berkeley, California, and is a member, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, of the Heitsoq First Nation. She is passionate about creating a life with great stories and amazing adventures with her family. Ladies, let's all please welcome Moderator Lansdowne.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Wanda. So Heiltsuk First Nation is really hard to pronounce, and the anglicized version of it is Heiltsuk. So like Heiltsuk, Heiltsuk. Because I know that's a tough one for almost everybody who doesn't speak HFRC as a first language, which is like almost everybody. Thank you so much for having me and for rescheduling. I think our original time we were supposed to be together got rescheduled because of the recalled National Indigenous Spiritual Gathering, if I remember correctly. And it was really important for me to be there. It was an unexpected national meeting, and it was good to be able to be present for the full proceedings of that meeting. And given the fact that our Regenerate leadership development cohort starts tomorrow at 5 Oaks for the week, I'm in transit from the West Coast to Toronto, and realized after the fact that when I rescheduled for today, that yesterday was my parents' golden wedding anniversary. And so instead of leaving from Vancouver to Toronto, I'm flying from Victoria to Toronto. I'm flying on Porter Airlines instead of Air Canada. There's no lounge here. So I'm just like out in the regular like gate areas. And so you will hear airport announcements and everything. But I scheduled my flight so that I could honor this time and still be here to be present with my parents last night. We had a beautiful, intimate dinner, just me and my brother and my parents, which and I got edible gold leaf and got the restaurant to sprinkle it on my parents' dessert as like the gold for their golden anniversary, because I knew they wouldn't want anything sort of splashier or more expensive than that. So $13 bottle of edible gold leaf was all it took to golden up their anniversary dinner. I am so thrilled that your theme for this time together, right, or your theme for this year is called To Be the Church, because I think that we're still in a time of like deep discernment about what does it mean to be the United Church of Canada in 2025? What does our centennial mean in terms of our legacy, but also what does our future hold in the church? I've quoted many times now Executive Director of 5 Oaks, Michael Schuberg, who said that the church restructured and then the universe restructured with the pandemic. And I think that all of the challenges we anticipated with change management of eliminating presbyteries and sort of trying to streamline some of the functions of the church for a changing world and the changing realities of our church meant that our best laid plans got sort of disrupted, and we retreated back into this very sort of preservationist congregationalism. And I don't mean that in like a judgmental sense. I think that it was just necessary. Like every community of faith had to negotiate its own ways around adapting technologically to be able to gather digitally when we couldn't gather in person, keeping communities safe, supporting each other, checking in on each other. And at a time when we expected to be figuring out, okay, what does the world within our church look like without presbyteries, we were figuring out how to get groceries and other packages safely into our homes, and worried about our neighbors and caring for those among us, especially in the early days when we had no vaccines, and the risk of death, especially in older folks, was higher. And so there is much continued discernment to do about what does exactly it mean to be called to be the church. And so I wanted to share with you sort of a bit of a spoiler alert. The Broadview magazine's doing a series of interviews with me and former moderators about their centennial issue for the church, which I guess will be coming out in June, July. And they asked me, what does the United Church stand for? And I said, that depends on who you ask. I love our call to the church to practice deep spirituality, bold discipleship, and daring justice. I think this gets at the heart of who we are, but we are also very congregationalist at heart, even more so with the elimination of presbyteries, and every community of faith can discern for themselves what is their local and unique expression of this call. I feel like these 6 simple words allow us to practice unity in our diversity in a way that lives up to our motto from the Gospel of John, that all may be one. And so I know that even the rolling out of the call and vision of the United Church of Canada to be a church of deep spirituality, bold discipleship, and daring justice got sort of conflated with the strategic plan of the general counsel office, and then people thought like it was only like a theme for the 5 years of the strategic plan. But I believe that the intention was to consult widely across the church and try to answer exactly that question: is what does the United Church stand for? Who are we as a denomination? And we landed on those 6 simple words. And almost every single community of faith can spend some time in saying, like, what's uniquely ours at Arundel United Church? What are the things that we can do to practice deep spirituality, bold discipleship, and daring faith? And that might be totally different. It would be totally different than Jasper United, that's now trying to, you know, discern how do they replace the presence of the United Church of Canada when their physical buildings burnt down, when 30% of Jasper was destroyed in the fires, and people have sort of scattered into other communities in Alberta and beyond. We have some communities of faith that are really struggling financially, or even just in terms of their energy and willingness to continue to do the complicated and hard work of running a church in the 21st century, and others that are thriving. And so it's not going to be the same for every single congregation in the church. The other question they asked me is, what do you think the denomination will look like in another 100 years? And I said, I hope that we are able to be community builders. Sometimes in our fight for justice, we've struggled with how to live with diversity and difference. I hope we can learn how to have constructive disagreements with kindness and love. We look at ways we contribute to polarization, and find ways to move past conflict to simply disagree with love. I worry more about the divisions happening in society than I do about the climate emergency, and that's saying something. And I hope that my grandkids grow into adults in our church. I hope that we still have a church that is around when I'm pretty sure my kids are in it for life. They're avid United Church camping ministry participants, and our sons just joined the youth council in Pacific Mountain region. But I hope that this expression of church within the Christian family is still around in 100 years. The last thing I'll say, and then would love to open up for discussion, because I don't think I have all the answers. I just feel like sometimes my call is to reflect back to the church what I see happening in the church. I'm sure many of you have heard about the plan to have our centennial service on June 8th, which will be live streamed from St. John's, Newfoundland at 4:30 p.m. Newfoundland time on June 8th, which is 2 days before our 100th birthday. And the General Secretary of the World Council of Churches will be the guest preacher for our centennial. And it had a couple people say, like, that seems kind of weird. Like, why wouldn't the moderator or our General Secretary preach? I preached at the kickoff to our centennial last June. But I really have a huge spot in my heart for the World Council of Churches. I feel like that's sort of where I cut my leadership teeth. I was a young delegate to the 9th General Assembly of the World Council of Churches in Porto Alegre, Brazil in 2006, served on their executive and central committees, so like their GCE and General Council, I guess, for 7 or 8 years, 2006 to 2013. And I came to see the United Church as a huge gift, not only to Canada, but to the world, in terms of all of the ways that we've been sort of on the leading edge of trying to reconcile our faith tradition and some of the more constrained interpretations of our scriptures and how that impacts discipleship and spirituality, and being able to lead with love on women's ordination, on apologies for the way that the church has failed communities, not only Indigenous communities, but other racialized communities, to women, to the deaconesses and the single mothers' homes, and the ways in which that we haven't always lived into our values as a church in terms of gender justice. And So I'm really excited that Dr. Pillay is going to be the preacher at our service, because I hope he can ground our 100-year history in the 2,000-year history of our faith, and share the gift that the United Church of Canada has been to the world. So that's sort of like where my mind lands when I think about called to be the church. And I know that one of the things that I most appreciate about the UCW is that you are also very grounded in your local communities and concerned with the well-being of the world. You are also have your own unique local expressions of the things that you care about and that you're best at. And so it's not only being knee deep in egg salad sandwich, which is important, vital, in fact, some may say, to United Church ministry, but also on the front lines of advocating for climate resilience in response to the climate emergency, to gender justice and climate smart farming with some of those partners that you've met in Kenya and Tanzania, to providing safe spaces in schools and ensuring that our children grow up with the same love and care and safety at school that they do in churches, for like all the prison ministries that you support, and the ways that you pray for so many people that need support and love and spiritual care across the country. And so you are a huge expression of all of the different ways in which we can be church. And I was thinking, when I forget, when Phyllis was doing the opening reflection around UCW has not only existed since the 1960s. My grandmother my paternal grandmother, Edna Lansdowne, was always described to me as like a sort of a UCW leader and kind of salt of the earth, like kept the church running in Alert Bay in my hometown where I was born. She died in 1964. Like I don't think she was ever actually like a member of the UCW, but she represented that legacy of women's leadership, and as specifically lay women's leadership in the church, in a way that is embodied now by the UCW. And I'm very privileged that the presidents from across the country bestowed on me in September a lifetime membership in the UCW. One of the things that came up when I was in Berwick this year and I met with the UCW chapters from Nova Scotia is we were talking about evangelism and how to share the good news of the gospel in a way that sort of avoids the proselytism of some other parts of the Christian tradition, sort of like winning souls for Christ. And that, many folks in the United Church of Canada grew up in a time when Christianity was normative, when it wasn't a question of were you Christian or not, but rather what kind of Christian were you? And so I think that dynamic of Christianity being so much a part of Canadian fabric for the first 450 years of, colonized Canada, is that people didn't have to invite other people to come to church. And so we talked about invitation and how important that is to do in a respectful way. To borrow from the 12-step program, I feel like we should practice attraction rather than promotion. Like that we want people to know that we're Christians by how we act and show up in the world, and not by what we say or suggesting that others need the church or need to be baptized. And hopefully our lives are inspiring enough that they would want what we have through this transformative Christian story, and finding a gentle and maybe a little bit more vulnerable way of saying, actually, church matters to me. And, we're here for you too. Take it or leave it. But being able to go the step further and say, we're here for you too, and you're always welcome here. Or you'll see a new campaign coming up from the General Council this year saying that there's a place at the table for you. And so I had talked about how I had grown up in the United Church of Canada. I was a woman, but like nobody ever asked me to join the UCW. and it came out of a conversation around, you know, many UCW chapters closing because there's not a growth in membership, or there's a decline in membership in the UCW, just like in the rest of the church. I was like, but are you inviting women to join you? So as has often happened in my life when I sort of you spot it, you got it. So I named this, and then did get asked, in fact, to join the UCW, which I proudly do. Although with all my travel planning, I forgot to wear my lifetime member pin today for our call. But I have it in a very special place. I know exactly where it is in my jewelry box at home. So, so I just talked to you for like 20 minutes, but I also am wanting to have conversation and to know if there are questions to answer. I know that communication with the elimination of presbyteries has been a real challenge for people to understand like what's happening in the wider church. I think that maybe in the plan to restructure the church, we did underestimate the amount of word of mouth communication that used to happen in the church. I know the exact person in my former presbytery who was like the person who read, she was the woman who read all of the things and knew all of the context. And so when somebody said like, I don't get this, or I don't understand what the region's doing, or what's happening in the national church, she would put up her hand. She said, well, let me explain it to you. And so she was like the embodied form of the too long don't read. So for all of the info packs that went in the recycling bin, or the newsletters that got ignored in email inboxes, she was the sort of institutional knowledge keeper in our presbytery of all the things. And the opportunity to engage with somebody like Simone is now drastically diminished. And so if there are conversations you want to have or questions that you want me to dig into, I might not know all the answers, but I might know the right person to get you the answers. So I will stop there.
Okay, thank you very much, Moderator Lansdowne. I will keep a speakers list. If you hit the hand button, you can do that by going to the
heart react button. The
heart
menu.
react button.
Yeah.
Yes. You should see it
There you
down
go.
at the bottom of your toolbar. If it's disappeared, just run your mouse over the bottom of your screen. And if you see that, you'll see the recognize hand gestures, raise hands, that sort of stuff. Okay. So okay, Christina, I see you first. Please unmute and ask away.
I just wanted to thank the moderator for her comments, and it's very insightful. And as a member of the UCW, I never really noticed the full impact of the things that we do, not necessarily just within our church, but also around the world. So thank you for that information.
Awesome. And is there a question?
No.
Or just the sharing? Okay.
Just sharing.
Thank you.
Just quickly in response, I'll say to Christina, when I think I also want you to know and be affirmed in the fact that in that global solidarity that you express when you choose partnership with some of our global partners, it doesn't get subsumed into the name of the United Church of Canada. I was in rural Zambia with a secular organization that United Church supports called People's Action Forum, and they do gender justice education for middle school children. They started with girls in a program called Girls Club, and they've since expanded it to boys because they realized if boys weren't being educated about gender justice, then it would just be creating conflict between girls and boys around gender justice. And they're one of the main challenges in terms of attendance at school for rural children and for rural girls in Zambia is not having access to period products. And so they can't go to school when they're on their period because there's no way to, they don't have pads or tampons or anything. And they don't have they don't have dumps or anything to even dispose of those types of things or sewage systems. And so this chapter of the girls club that we went to visit, they had learned how to make reusable sanitary pads with fleece. And the UCW had cut like little plastic inserts to put inside 2 pieces of fleece so that they could rewash them, and sent powdered laundry soap and also flannelette swaddling blankets, because for modesty. So when the girls learn how to wash their pads and then hang them out to dry, they can cover them with the flannelette blankets, so that it's not like obvious to the whole world that they're drying their pads on these clotheslines. And they talked about the fact that the UCW had provided the funds for them to be, and the materials for them to be able to learn how to do this. And absenteeism in that school had dropped by 95% among menstruating girls. And so it's a really real and tangible impact that the UCW has with our partners.
Fabulous. Thank you. Okay, Carol, please.
Yeah. It's two separate questions or topics. Carmen, is the service in St. John's, is it by invitation only? So in other words, if my husband and I want to fly to Newfoundland and Labrador that weekend and go to that service, will there be a seat for us?
That is a very good question that I don't know the answer to, Carol, but I'm going to see while I'm talking to you if I can find out before the end of our call. And if I can't, I will make sure that I get the answer to you. I know for sure.
Cheryl Ann be somebody I could?
Cheryl Ann would be the perfect person to ask. Okay. Yeah. She is the lead staff person, like lead senior staff person in charge of planning our centennial. And I think especially, yeah, I don't know what we've planned in terms of public participation. I know that the hope is that we will have watch parties across the country. The reason why we chose 4:30 p.m. is that it sort of gives time for churches on all across the country to have their regular service, with the hope that they'll have some type of celebratory lunch or coffee or something like that, and then join together for a watch party later in the afternoon or morning, because it'll be noon in Vancouver by the time the watch party starts. So, but I haven't asked questions about whether or not there's space for people to attend in person. So I will find out.
Okay, the second part is about communications, and hopefully, I know your term as moderator ends this July and we won't be seeing you in September. There's already some women that are saying, oh, what a shame. But please make sure your name is on our Keeping in Touch newsletter contact list. And hopefully, Wanda, you will submit the theme of this event. When it was the info pack, when we were conferences, National UCW had one green page in the info pack, and we could do it on both sides, and that was it. And when Amy Crawford said InfoPack is going digitally, we won't be doing the Keeping in Touch, we asked at the national level if the name belonged to us and if we could take it over. And now our newsletters are like 14 pages.
They are
double-sided, and there's pictures from every region, communities of faith, and you find out what's going on. Keeping the communications open.
I really love those Keeping in Touch newsletters, and I really hope that as our communication reps are sending them out, that each unit is sitting down and taking a look at them, because they are so inspiring and they do such a simple job of keeping you in touch, but that is so crucial. Just to see your work mirrored in perhaps another unit, or to get an idea from another unit, or just to see what's happening out there, to see the vibrancy that does exist. Okay, thank you, Carol. Is there anyone else for a question or a comment for our moderator? Last chance. We're losing her in July. Well,
August,
to other
not till
things.
August 11th.
August 11th. Oh, okay.
Yeah. One thing I will say is because of Canada anti-spam legislature in Canada, and because of the congregationalist nature of our membership, there is even if the national church has your contact information, we can't actually and we don't automatically send information to you even if you're in our database. You have to like actively subscribe to newsletters from the national church. And so I just put the website um in the
In the
chat
chat. All
because
right.
you
Okay.
can subscribe for all of them or just the ones that interest you. But if you feel like you don't know what's happening in the general council offices or with different units of the church, that's your go-to place to actively sign up to receive that communication.
All right. I will send that out to my communication reps. And communication reps, if you will forward that, please, and encourage people to connect with that. And that's not just for keeping in touch. That could be for a number of other newsletters that are offered by the wider church. Is that correct?
Sorry, that's for it's for all like different networks and the different individual units of the church. There's a centennial newsletter to share what's happening across the country
Yes.
related to the centennial.
So you can choose to get some or others, right? You
Yes,
don't necessarily
exactly.
have
So
to take
each
them all.
one has its own individual sign-up sheet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And Carol, here's the response from Cheryl Ann. She said, it's an open service and people are invited. Gower Street has a large sanctuary. There's no reserved seating except for the processional, and we'd be delighted to welcome people from elsewhere.
Okay, get your tickets now, everybody.
Yeah. And I think there's direct flights on WestJet, Porter Airlines, PAL, and Air Canada from Pearson straight to Newfoundland. So
I wonder if I qualify for the Agatha Casa grant deadline in April for some funding to help.
Doesn't hurt
I'll
to
have to
ask. So 4:30 on June 8th is what time here in Ontario?
3
For
o'clock.
those of you that are worldly.
It's 3 p.m. Ontario time.
3 p.m. Ontario time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, that half hour is going to throw everybody off, I think.
All right. We are mindful of time right now. Moderator Lansdowne is multitasking. You can see, she's serving us in the between flights, but I understand you do have a flight to catch very soon. Is that correct? Oh, you're muted.
I have about another 45 minutes before I have to go upstairs and board. So
okay, well, we won't keep you much longer. We want very much to thank you. It was wonderful to have your time with us together today. I want to thank everybody that's taken it upon themselves to do a watch party and to embrace this new technology. As I said, it's one thing we can thank the pandemic for. And speaking of thanks, can I please ask Laring to bring our thanks on our behalf? So if you would unmute yourself, Laring.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to thank moderator Carmen for spending time with us. It's a cliche to say that she has taken time away from a busy schedule. It really and truly is a busy schedule. And I'm fortunate enough to have heard her speak 3 times, and each time I've experienced her uncanny ability to affirm, inspire, and challenge simultaneously. And I think everyone who's heard her today has been very, very fortunate. I think we get a bit in the habit of grieving what isn't or what used to be instead of celebrating what is and what we can continue to do. And whether we're doing it at the congregational level, the local level, or the global level. So thank you so much, Carmen, for making time for us and sharing your deep and profound wisdom and vision with us. So thank you.
And I mirror that and want you to know, Moderator Lansdowne, that a donation will be made in your name to the Healing Fund, the UCW's national charity. And with that, I would invite Phyllis once again, please, to bring us together for our closing.
Really quick before Phyllis pops on, I just wanted to put in a plug. You may have heard about a workshop I've done called the Flourishing Workshop across the country. And I'm doing it in Southwestern Ontario in February. And I just put the link to the registration. It's going to be in Stratford on, gonna double check the date. February 22nd at Avondale United Church. And so would love to see you all there. There is theological grounding for it, but it's some practical skills around learning to flex our imagination muscles and dreams and visions. And visions and dreams is the theme of our 45th General Council. And so it's really about like dreaming about the future of the church that you want to see and giving some tangible skills for how to make plans to make that happen. So hope to see some of you there.
Thank you. Phyllis,
This-
over to you.
This is loosely based on a writing by Ruth Joshua of the former Living Waters Presbyterial. My very first remembered scripture was, I am the gate, the door. United Church women are each doors in our own right, but doors alone are not enough because doors require keys. And UCW has been the key that opened doors of friendship and of learning. As keys, each of you have allowed for more doors to be opened within the church and beyond. Within United Church women, they support each other and others. We open doors. We continue to grow, to learn, and to love. May we each be keys to the wider church, to the wider world, each of us, as we are called. Amen. And I just have a quick blessing for you. May you be blessed as you continue to bless others. Go with God as God goes with you. Shalom.
Thank you, Phyllis. I hope you come away today, everybody, with your bucket a little more full and that you have a little bit more of a spring in your step, not let the weather get you down. Let's reflect on everything that has come here today and what we have taken away from Phyllis's sharing with us and from Moderator Lansdowne's, and be reflective and meditative and take that all into heart as you go forward. We hope that this is a very good year for you at your units from Horseshoe Falls Region UCW. I want to thank Carol and everybody at National UCW who helped us to get this together, and all my Horseshoe Falls unit UCW exec rather who were supportive of this, and of course Carmen. We're going to say goodbye now, and we're hoping that you'll have a very good rest of the day, that the weather won't be too much of a burden where you are, and that soon spring will be here and we will be on to bigger and better things. So thanks from everybody here at Horseshoe Falls Region UCW, and take care, everybody. Thank you, Moderator Lansdowne. We hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Hope to see some of you in person later this year.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
All righty. I will end the meeting now.